Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So I had recently posted a picture of these very cool soaps on my Instagram channel and I promised you a video, so here it is. I am reviewing the Dirty Rocker Company soap, and this is definitely a fan purchase. I'm going to be straight up with you. This is a company that Rachel Bolan is a part of. Rachel Bolan, the bass player for Skid Row, and I'm a huge fan of his, and I have been forever. And I was really excited to see that he was putting out soaps that had very cool packaging and also have a very short list of ingredients, which I think is really cool. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, as I always am. I'm not somebody that purely purchases clean beauty. Okay, so for me, I like having a combination of things that work for me, and I like as many of them to be clean as possible or have limited ingredients where I know what they are. But to me, I use whatever works for me, and I'm a little bit less concerned than some of you out there are. That being said, I'm going to share a lot of information or whatever information I have, and definitely my experience in this video. And then I will probably also put this on my website just so I can list all the ingredients for you, for those of you who are really paying attention to that sort of thing, because I think it is important. And if you've made that commitment, I just want to be able to help you get that information. So I purchased 2 bars. The first one I purchased was one that I fully intended on using and did, and so that's the one I'm giving the actual review on. I'm kind of putting it back together so you can have a sense of what it looked like when it came in. So I've been using this bar, so it's not as big as it was when it came in. So this is the one I bought because I actually wanted to try it and use it and see if it's something that becomes a part of my skincare regimen. Skincare is super important to me, and I spend a lot of time and money. Doesn't necessarily mean the most expensive stuff is the best, but I'm willing to spend the money on skincare because I think it's worth it. This is the Pure Unscented. It has coconut oil, olive oil, distilled water and sodium hydroxide. That is literally all that is in this bar. So like I said, I will use whatever works, but I do think that if you can make something with very few ingredients, then that is a good thing, and I'm certainly open to trying it. I've used this bar this week. I got it earlier this week or last weekend, and so it's much bigger than this when you get it. Not much bigger, but it's bigger. It is this size, so clearly it's shrunk from use. And so I'm going to give you my full opinion on this, but I also wanted to let you know I bought this, and this is purely a fan purchase, no lie. This is all about aesthetics. This one is the Tea Tree Kohl. It has tea tree essential oil, activated charcoal, coconut oil, olive oil, distilled water, and sodium hydroxide. So again, I will list these on the Foodie Beauty Life website just so you have a list so you can kind of keep track if you're doing research. But I bought this one because it's black. Black is cool. It's got cool packaging. It will eventually be featured somewhere where people can look at it and go, that's cool. And if they're a metalhead like I am, they could be like, hey, that looks like Rachel Bolan. I could be like, it is. And then we could have a whole chat about how Rachel Bolan makes soap now. So the review is on the Unscented. So when you smell it, it really doesn't have a scent. It truly hasn't had anything added to it. But if you're really looking for scent, I would say it's probably just smells like the ingredients it's made of. So really, you can hardly smell anything at all. There are times where I could say it has maybe like a natural soap smell, but it's about as unscented as a product can be. I only mention that because there's another brand that I like called Carez. It's a Greek brand, and they do not add artificial scents. However, their ingredients include things that grow in nature in Greece, and a lot of them are like floral, and so if you smell them, they will have a definite scent. Like they had a pine product that was very strong, even though they didn't add artificial scent, it had a scent. So that's the reason I mentioned that. So this is truly like, this is about as unscented a product as you'll ever come across. And also the tea tree coal it smells like tea tree, and it has so it has a scent, but like nothing that is like perfuming off. So if you're bothered by scent, I don't think any of these are going to phase you in terms of like bothering you in any sort of way. I think you're going to be very happy. This one I purchased because it had coconut oil and olive oil, and that was pretty much it, aside from the two other ingredients, which, like I said, were distilled water and sodium hydroxide. So it was very light, and I have dry skin, so I tend to want things that have like a coconut oil type of thing. So when I used it, I was very happy. It definitely didn't dry out my skin like a lot of soap does. But I will tell you the one big difference between this and the products I usually use is that I felt really light after using this product. What I mean by that is because I have dry skin and because I'm not like overly concerned. I know that sounds awful, but I have some skin stuff that I have to deal with. I have psoriasis and I have I just basically have psoriasis, but it has a lot of different elements to it. And because of that, I have to be like a skincare fanatic. Like I have to really care about what I put on my skin. And for a lot of people these days, caring about what you put on your skin means like natural and knowing what's in your product. And I believe that is like the philosophy behind this brand is like that Rachel Bolan has been touring for like decades, and you, as you know, when you vacation, you go to a hotel, if you don't bring your own stuff, you're using whatever they have, and whatever could be anything, and it's literally going to be different from hotel to hotel. So I could see why for him skincare would be like a huge thing where you want a consistency, and then you also want to know what's in your product, because you could literally be getting the worst stuff or the best stuff depending on where you stay and how much they care about that. Also, as somebody with psoriasis, you have to care, because I have to be super hydrated, because it's not a dry skin issue, but if you have dry skin, it's only going to make everything else worse. So I have to just be super hydrated. And then the other issue for me is that I just have dry skin naturally. So I always just want to be hydrated, even if I didn't have that to deal with. So that was very long-winded, but it was to say that a lot of the products that I use are not necessarily natural, and I don't care, because I need the thing that's going to keep me super hydrated. I'm going to buy the thing that isn't going to bother my psoriasis, but is maybe going to help in some way. It's not going to make it go away because it's like a medical issue, but it will help it. And so most of the products that I use are like heavy with a huge list of ingredients, most of which I cannot pronounce, none of which I could tell you what they are, but the products are very heavy and very creamy, and they do give me an added benefit of being very moisturizing. So that's what I'm used to, and that's what I use most of the time. I do pull back in the summer, where I will often use like an oatmeal soap or a goat milk soap. Sometimes those are natural, and sometimes they have quite a few ingredients in them as well, but they're definitely a little bit lighter compared to what I use the rest of the year. And I always tell people this in videos because I think it matters. I live in New England. New England has like a winter that usually doesn't end, and a summer that's very humid. So it's like a huge contrast. In the summer, I could use the heavy stuff all year long, but I try to give my skin a break, and I'll use lighter stuff. And so that was a whole lot of talk to let you know that what I really liked and enjoyed about this, and what I think most of you will really like and enjoy about this particular bar, is that it was so light that I actually noticed how light it was. Like, I got out of the shower and I thought, oh my God, I feel lighter. Like it's almost like when you get a haircut, like when you have really long hair and then you chop it and you feel like you lost 10 pounds. It's almost like that, because it was a very different experience. It felt just as good on the skin. It's not that it didn't feel good on the skin. It felt just as good on the skin. It wasn't like I was missing the creaminess from like my bath gel or anything like that. But when I got out, there was a huge difference in the way my skin felt. It felt much lighter to me, and in a good way. That I can't explain other than to just say that there was a massive difference in the way I felt after I used this versus after what I usually use. And I use them both the same way. I always use loofah gloves. So it was like apples to apples comparison in the sense that I applied the same way. So I think that for most of you who are looking for something with a very short list of ingredients that still has the hydration but doesn't have any of that other stuff, this is one I would recommend. Also, I would also say that for those of you who just like that like light clean feeling, which I think all of us like, this is really good. And I really thought, I was surprised by this feeling because I thought I would get out and say, okay, I feel lighter, but is that a bad thing? Does that mean I feel less hydrated or anything? And that is not the case at all. I still felt like I got the hydration I needed. My skincare that I put on afterwards went on just as well. It probably went on better, to be honest, because it wasn't competing with whatever's probably left over for my skin. So I had a very good experience with this. I would definitely purchase this again. Like, this would be something that I buy not just because I'm a Rachel Bolan fan, but because I think it's a good bar of soap. I think the one thing I would say, and this is not a complaint, I like scented items. Like, they don't, ironically, they don't seem to bother me at all in any sort of way. How do I say this? There are certain brands of soap, the ones that are blue and green, they wreak havoc on me in ways I cannot even begin to explain. And I imagine that part of it is the ingredient list and part of it might be the scent, because they do tend to have a few different scents to those. But I like a scented item. Like, I go out of my way to buy things that smell like citrus. That's usually what I go for, but like berries, or even if something is like an oatmeal or something, I like knowing that I can smell it. I was into seaweed some years ago, and they either used something natural or they created some sort of scent that evoked that feeling. I like scented items, so I'm not against it. For me, honestly, if this bar smelled like orange blossom, that would be the only way to make it better, because then I would have that sort of aromatherapy experience, which I look for in the shower, along with just a really good product that makes me feel really clean, light, doesn't strip my skin, and uses like natural things that I know what they are in order to like keep the hydration level where I want it. So I did, for the record, on the website or somewhere, ask if they were going to be doing like any citrus scents, and I think, unless I imagine this, I think they said they're working on stuff and they're just like making sure that everything is on the up and up. Don't hold me to that. That's between you and Rachel Bolan. You reach out to him and you ask him for what you want. But no, I would love to see this exact soap with scents for those of us who actually really, really enjoy that kind of aromatherapy experience. But in terms of like product and hydration, I was really happy with this, because I don't always like earthy, crunchy stuff. I don't think this is necessarily earthy, crunchy, but it kind of is, because it's like trying to keep it simple in that. I like products that do what they're supposed to do, and this did what it's supposed to do, so I was really happy. And again, if you need a review on this, you'll have to find somebody else's review or check it out yourself, because like I said, this is just me being a Rachel Bolan fan and just thinking black soap is really cool and really liking the label. And the one last thing I'll say is they did keep the packaging. It's cool, definitely, but it's very simple. So it's just like a black sleeve. It's like the label, and then they just have a label on the back that gives you the ingredients. So that's another added benefit, because as much as I love cool packaging, it does kind of hurt my soul when I buy like a bunch of skincare and there's like all of these boxes that you have to toss, and then on top of that there's like, when the package is empty, those are gonna, when I say tossed, I mean recycling bin, but still it's a recycling bin, which means that it was created in the first place and it's unnecessary. So very simple packaging, and they both came together in a pretty simple package. It wasn't like, it was enough to protect what I purchased, but not so much that, like, again, it hurt my soul that I just purchased something that had like all this thing and killed all these trees and God knows what else they make packaging out of. So super happy with the soap. I will be purchasing it again. I might experiment with some of the other ones, but I really found what I need with this right here. So we'll see. Again, if they start introducing certain scents or that, I will definitely check those out, but really happy with this. And yeah, so there was that. So if you have any questions for me on my experience, please feel free to put them in the comments below. If you've tried it yourself, I definitely want to hear what you thought of it, especially if you tried a different scent than I have, or different flavor. I don't know what it's called, but if you tried a different one, let me know what you thought below. Please like this video, and please also subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of beauty videos, beauty meaning skincare as well as makeup. I also do a lot of food stuff. If you like black stuff like I do, I am going to be doing a video in the not so distant future about black chocolate. So it's an actual chocolate bar that is black in color and very cool, so I'll be doing that video soon. And I just put up videos if you're into makeup. I did a very, very long and very honest review of KKW Beauty, which is Kim Kardashian's beauty line, and a very brutally honest, probably unpopular opinion about the Kylie lip kits. So definitely check those out. And like I said, thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.